In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You want another slice?
No, I'm okay.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else.
Where's the TV guy?
Welcome to the Truman Show with you, and here we are today, looking to dissect this unbelievable movie that reveals a lot of truth bombs in this reality. You know, I personally feel like we're all Truman, stuck in this matrix of sorts, and it's our job to escape it like he did. Now, how do you get that? How do you get to that stage? You gotta figure out that you're in the matrix and you gotta accept it just like he did. And Rowan, I'd like to mention, you've watched this movie before and you've had a lot of syncs with this movie personally with your own life. So I'd like to ask you really, what was it like watching it again, and did you see any things differently than that you saw from previously? Obviously, I only just watched it today and I found some interesting syncs too.
Yeah, what a great movie, by the way. Yeah, the second time around, I did notice a lot more because you've got a lot more time to like digest and see what's going on behind the scenes, and you pick up on more things. The one thing that I picked up on the most was the product placement. I don't know if you'd noticed it the first time around. You know, like there's just so many scenes where they're like drinking something or they're eating something, and like how they've made it look like it's product placement. So there's like a scene where he's sat with his best mate and they're like drinking beer on the end of that bridge, and they're like playing golf and hitting golf balls with the driver. And it's like it says something like, "Oh, this is one of the best beers I've ever had." And he faces the beer like label towards the camera, and he drinks it like that, and it's doing it like an advertisement. It's just like there's stuff like that you don't notice the first time around. Because like when you've already watched it, that it's product placement, but you won't know until like you've seen it the first time. But like the second time, it's just so cleverly done. It's just so well intricately put into the film without you noticing. Like when Meryl comes down the stairs and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing fixing that old mower? You should buy the new mower." Whatever the mower's called, like, "Oh, it's so much better," and it like zooms up close on her. And when I first watched that, I was like, "That's a really weird like camera shot choice." But then, obviously, like you work out when you've seen it the first time that it's product placement, and then the second time it's like, "Oh yeah, so it's very clever." Do you know what I mean? It's very well put in there. Other things as well, obviously, like when you pick up new knowledge, like I picked up a lot of new knowledge this year, and like through doing the podcast and stuff and talking to different people, you have like I've had a lot of syncs with like Sirius recently. Like a lot of people talking about Sirius. I know we've spoke about it on the podcast quite a lot. Obviously, I went to Egypt and there was a sect of like Egyptian culture where they worshipped Sirius, and I've been watching Graham Hancock's show, and he's talking about like ancient civilizations all seeming to have like a dedication towards Sirius. And in the first act of the film, when Truman's leaving his house and going to work, there's a lighting rig that falls from the sky. And I didn't notice this the first time, but it's called Sirius. So there's that link there. I don't know if you picked up on that. Did you notice that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I saw that instantly.
Yeah. Like I didn't notice that the first time around, but the second time around, I was like, "Oh shit, no way, that's crazy. It's Sirius." So there's that link to Sirius. Also, as well, his love interest, which I found quite amusing, is Sylvia, which is quite similar to Sylvia, who we've had on the podcast recently, which I thought was quite funny. So maybe that's trying to tell us something. Maybe there's going to be like a gay romance there. I'm joking.
Yeah.
No homo. Yeah, and there was other things as well. Like I don't know if you noticed, but there's really subtle details that the filmmakers have clearly put in, and they've given a lot of thought to the film and the world building. And there's a scene where like they're just in the dining room or the kitchen, and there's a vitamin D tablets on the table.
Is there?
If you
I didn't
noticed
see that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see
So
that.
that's obviously like alluding to the idea that something's fake. It's not a real thing. So they have to supplement vitamin D to get their intake, which I thought were quite funny and quite intricate. Yeah, there was just a lot of things. There was more, but those were the things that stuck out to me the most. They're just like things it's the second time around.
Yeah. Well, for me, like the first time, I instantly saw, the Truman's neighbor. His dog is called Pluto. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, Pluto. And of course, with the dog connection with Sirius known as the dog star. So, I mean, what are the chances of that? The producers
and he's scared of him as well.
Yeah, he's scared of him as well. That is an interesting thing as well. So
and
the
black
producers,
and white,
yeah, 100%. But like, obviously, Pluto is symbolic of being the god of the underworld, and perhaps we're already in the underworld, and Christoph above is controlling the whole show.
But who is Christoph? Is it Sirius?
Maybe. I personally think so, but it's interesting that Christoph is connected to the moon, and the moon is obviously one half of the current matrix we're in, which is the Saturn moon matrix. I'm pretty sure I was surprised that Saturn wasn't even involved in the movie, but just goes to show that, he wasn't needed in this instance, and Christoph is the architect. And obviously the moon, it controls the water flows, and it's no surprise that Truman, over his experiences, was scared of water. And obviously throughout the show, he looks to seek his, he looks to defeat or conquer that fear of water, which obviously he does at the end by escaping the Matrix and, defeating Christoph's mate game.
Christoph, I like that. Interesting, yeah. And he walks through the set, and the set is placed in the moon, so it's like he's walking through the moon to get to the other end. And there have been like a lot of theories of like the moon being the thing that traps us in this reality. So that's the place where we reincarnate. So when you're dying and people say like, go towards the light or don't go towards the light, they're saying don't go towards the moon or go towards the moon, because obviously the moon is light. Is it that your body's ascending, like your soul's ascending, and then you're seeing the moon? That's where like the artificial light's coming from, the false light, and then you're going into it, and then that's what's going to bring you back into this reality.
Very true. It's like also with the moon, right? I'm sure he has a role to play in the death and reincarnation cycle, because if you look at the moon itself, it's obviously seen being the moon god, right? And you have that in maths as well, and you often find that with angles, which is an anagram of angel, for some reason the letter theta is used to denote an angle. And I've done some quick research on that, and the word theta is used to symbolize death, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is really interesting. Yeah. Were there any like numbers that stuck out to you throughout the film? So like there was a lot of numerical placement. Were there any numbers that sprung to mind as like, oh wow, that's significant? For example, he lived at number 36, which I'm not sure the significance of that, but you might be able to shed some light on it.
The 36, yeah, it's an interesting one. I did see that a lot. Obviously, that could symbolize, the tale of Jesus, right? Jim Carrey, Jesus Christ. Maybe he is that figure. Plus, it could perhaps be that Jesus was from Sirius, which explains why at the beginning of the movie, the Sirius catapult is launched into the ground. Obviously, Jim Carrey's story, Truman's story is not that of Jesus, so, but it could perhaps be a connection where, it could maybe be the case that this is what the 36 means.
Yeah, very true. Just had a thought about the Sirius, because obviously Sirius falls out of the sky, and that is Truman's wake-up call to be like, oh, maybe what's going on isn't what I perceived it to be in the first place. It's like, what if Sirius is the light in the sky that creates and perpetuates this reality? And because it falls from the sky, that's what sort of dismantles the whole illusion. So obviously from that point forward, Truman is finding more and more clues that what he's living in isn't what he's thought it to be the whole time. So what if, like, that's what the film's alluding to? So like Sirius is the thing that's holding this reality together in some way, shape or form. Is the god dictator of this reality. It's actually a quote as well that Christoph says in the film that I thought was really interesting. He says, "We accept the reality of the world with which we were presented." I don't know if you picked up on that. It's a really good quote.
I did.
But yeah, she's talking about how like the world that we're absorbed in, like the illusion of it, is just the one we accept. We blindly follow it without thought to question like what actually is this reality? Is there more to it? So yeah, I don't know. I had that thought about Sirius. So yeah.
Yeah, and going on that Christoph quote, that just symbolizes most people. They're not here to question their reality. They're just here for the experience, which is fine. But there comes a point into, if you become more conscious, you do start questioning this reality. Like me personally, I think this reality is the second version of the Truman Show, if not even worse, when you see what's going on the world stage. You know,
yeah.
Like the Truman Show, you just only had Christoph running the strings. And in this reality, man, you have Archons and the Alderbuff and his minions looking to run us all. So it is a crazy synchronicity there. There is
it could be a thing of layers.
With what, sorry?
Layers. So like obviously Truman leaves and then he goes into the real world, but is that the real world? Maybe if there was a Truman Show 2, it'd be in the real world, and then they'd find out that reality was actually a fake reality as well. Run by the Moon. That'd be a good sequel. I'd watch that sequel.
Yeah.
Anyone thought that?
Is there a sequel of it?
No. I'm just saying,
no.
If you were to pitch a sequel, that would be the plot of the sequel. Like, the Get Out, Truman gets out, and then he realizes that this reality is fake as well, because he finds out about gematria, and then he finds out about the Jesuits and the Masons. And he's like, oh my god, this reality must be fake.
Yeah.
And then he starts a podcast.
Well, are you trying to say that you are playing Jim Carrey or Jim Carrey's playing you, my friend?
No, of course not. Of course I'm not saying that, no. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't speaking about me. I was just speaking, like, that sounds like it'd be a good plot for a film. Not, obviously, I was being satirical. I wasn't actually being genuine. It is funny though, because I remember, like, I do acting and stuff. I remember, like, one of the first, I did some like acting classes like a while ago. Like, this must be like 5 or 6 years ago now. And one of the there was like feedback at the end of like a performance I did, and one of this girl was like, "Oh yeah, you really remind me of Jim Carrey." And I was like, "Oh, that I don't know why that always stuck with me." So
yeah,
I think I've changed my acting style quite a bit now. I was a bit more like animated back then. You know how like Jim Carrey's always over the top and doing like silly shit like in Ace Ventura and whatnot. The
Speaking about Jim Carrey, as the viewers may have seen before this podcast started, it's obviously the man's birthday. I mean, what are the chances we come here and talk about this on his birthday? Obviously,
yeah. We definitely didn't plan it. We definitely didn't schedule it. Oh my god, no way! Is it actually his birthday? What a weird thing.
Yeah,
it's just completely random, that.
Yeah. No, obviously, we didn't sit there and think, you know what, lads? Let's record this on Jim Carrey's birthday. I didn't even know when his birthday was, by the way.
That's the thing. We should probably say happy birthday to him. We should say happy birthday on the podcast. Happy birthday, Jim Carrey. How old is he today? I don't know. I think he's born in 69. Could be wrong. Might be earlier.
Let me check.
Yeah, have a look.
He's 61.
61. He's 61 today.
Yeah.
So when's that born? Is that 60?
Yes, 1962. Yes.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy. And he's born on the 17th. Obviously, the number 17 in Chaldean has links with Matrix equals 17, life equals 17. So obviously, Truman Show is very much about the life and Matrix and being stuck in a loop. So yeah, it's quite interesting. There's some nice little connections. And obviously, as you said, like he has the same letters in his name as Jesus Christ. So JC. What is that telling us? Is that telling us that this film was written by people with esoteric knowledge and they were making a comparison to Jesus Christ? And Jesus Christ died for our sins is equivalent to Jim Carrey leaving the simulation to show us that it's all a simulation and we all live in sin, in sign. You know, that's some deep shit there.
Yes. I mean, of course, it was made with esoteric knowledge, and you see that Sirius is being used. I mean, come on now, these producers know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. They definitely do have some like esoteric knowledge. I'm not saying like they're casting some spell on everyone, but there's definitely like you wouldn't put Sirius, would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. You wouldn't
randomly change that name. You wouldn't randomly choose that name. You definitely have to think about that, especially like with the Graham Hancock show, which I'm watching now. You're watching it as well.
Yeah,
I watched the 5th episode last night. There always seems to be this fascination in the past, in prehistoric past, with the star Sirius. So maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, I've not figured it out yet. I don't know what it is with Sirius.
No. I've got that Nick Hinton book coming. You know, the new one is written. I'm getting it as an ebook format though, so I could probably just share it with you.
Yeah. I'll definitely have a read.
But that's all about Sirius. I think it's called A Stairway to Sirius, if I'm right, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, to be fair, the only way you could probably find out about Sirius is if you be a Mason, because they worship it, but there's no hell, way, shape or form I'm joining the secret society.
They worship Sirius? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Masons.
What, that's like their god?
In a way, it is, to be fair. It's like,
really?
They call it the Grand Architect of the Universe. Like, you know, the Jacob's Ladder in the Bible and the steps that Jim Carrey takes.
Yeah.
It's like the 33 steps of the Freemasons to ascension.
Shit, yeah.
Which is why they have the 33 degrees in the Freemasonry.
Mad, yeah. No, I just didn't know that Sirius was their Grand Architect. That's quite interesting. I didn't realise it was Sirius. I thought it was just God, I thought the Grand Architect was. What? So do you think that's where Christoph is?
It could be. Don't know why it's tied to the moon though. Maybe the producers are trying to mock us, and in that sense,
show us off.
Yeah.
But similar to you know, the film 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I need to see that. I've not. I think I may have watched it. But probably forgot all about it.
It's a very weird film. Quite a weird film.
Is it?
Stanley Kubrick. I think he was amazing. Could be wrong. But when they were making that film, the idea is like these astronauts end up discovering a monolith near Jupiter, but it was originally supposed to be Saturn, but they had to change it at the last minute. They said it was because of budgeting reasons, but it seems more because they couldn't do the rings. Apparently, couldn't get the rings right, so they had to do Jupiter instead. But you know,
do you believe that?
What do I believe them about the budgeting issues?
Yeah.
No.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, it's Hollywood, man. They got too much money. Budgeting reasons. It's the biggest load of waffle I've heard.
That's the thing. You saw, like, in the film, there's this huge, giant moon-sized, well, not obviously not moon-sized, but like the set that they've made for Sea Haven, the place that he lives.
Yeah.
It's like, I could genuinely see Hollywood doing that in about 20 years' time.
What, create a Sea Haven? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's possible that sort of thing would happen in the future. Do you not think?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't want to get into deep of a rabbit hole, but maybe that's what Epstein Island is.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There's probably places in this reality that we've never been before, and maybe, like you said, with Sea Haven, maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. I don't really think that's going to happen, but you never know.
What? So it's like, you mean like Epstein Island is a place where they're generating babies and stuff like that, so they can make like a fake community for someone to live in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I went with that, but it could be the case. To be fair, it's a pretty strange point I made.
Obviously, we don't want to talk too much about Epstein or anything like that because we don't want to get killed.
Yeah.
if anything goes out here,
yeah,
conspiracy theories. We're not suicidal and we'd never kill ourselves.
Yes, 100%. Conspiracy theorist. Just to mention this one more time, conspiracy theorists, they believe he was a fake character, so you don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a rabbit hole for them to go along. I'm not getting involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's best to stay away from all that shit, isn't it?
Yes. But continuing on in the Truman Show, is there any more things you found within that program? I know you yourself, you're very connected with that show, with the 117 that you mentioned with Sylvia on a last meeting
the
together.
117. Yeah, well, I saw the 117 everywhere. I kept seeing it, and then I was like, I'm going to find out what this number means. And then I linked it with my grandma, her passing, because she passed 117 days before her birthday. My birthday is 117 days after Pi Day, which is the 14th of March. 117 shows up in the elemental chart of the periodic table at 94, which is plutonium, and is...
Whoa.
Oh, shit, yeah! Oh, my God. Oh, my God, bro. That's weird. Wow. My head just went all fucking funny there. That was really weird.
Oh, mate.
That was really weird, that. As soon as I said that, and you went, whoa, I was like, oh my God, no way. It was like a penny drop moment.
No, that's crazy.
So, yeah, for people that are struggling to follow along, obviously we were just talking about the dog Pluto from earlier, which is quite interesting. There's a link to plutonium there. Plutonium, and he's a dog, the dog star. Oh, and that's represented by the god Shiva as well, who some people believe is like another representation of Yaldabaoth, the god of this reality, god of destruction, the god of peace. And is actually at CERN. There's like a statue of Shiva at CERN with a gateway, with a portal, and then that linked to my my nana's death as well, who died in September of 2021, because she died 94 days before the end of the year. It's quite interesting. So yeah, there was that link there, and there was the other link. What was 117? Sylvia was saying that was a specific number. Was he saying it links to 13? Is that what he said? Can't remember.
Yes, 11, 13 and 11, I believe.
Yeah. So, and obviously we've been talking about 13 a lot. I think we're really getting onto something here.
100%.
The thing is, it feels like almost your reality reflects what you're thinking about at the current time. Like you speak about noticing things in films and seeing things that are relevant, like synchronicities. Essentially, it's almost like you're creating that reality in a way.
Yeah, manifestation.
But it's like, have you heard the old thought of, like Einstein had the thought that if like you're not looking at the moon, does it actually exist? Or like if you're not in the room with someone else, do they actually exist? Do you know what I mean? Or is it like just your universe that's isolated? So like the Truman Show could be a metaphor for that sort of theory that we all live in like our confined universes, and like everything is designed for us, but other people coexist in this universe. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My mind's still blown after that.
Yeah.
The other sync with the Truman Show, I guess you can make is that there's the 1.61, which equals is the golden ratio essentially, which is like what the universe forms on its own. So like in flowers and stuff, you'll see the golden ratio popping up. If you go 161 days from your birthday, you can usually find something that's quite revealing about your life or the reality you're living in. So 161 days from my birthday is actually the release date of The Truman Show, which is quite a cool thing. I think I've already spoke about that before, but yeah. Never ceases to amaze me, does that sync. Yeah, I think that's probably it for syncs. What about you? Have you got any syncs with the film that you've noticed?
Yeah, actually. I looked at the Truman Show in numerology, right? It's a 57, and that's a match to the phrase the world's a stage. And of course, because the world is a stage. You know, Shakespeare said it's right. You know, some people say he was Francis Bacon. For me, it don't matter. He's speaking truth at the end of the day. And so that 57 link I also found with the temperature of Earth in Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so the temperature of Earth in Fahrenheit is 57 degrees. So,
oh yeah, guys, I remember watching a podcast with Logan the other day. And he was talking about that.
Yeah. So we're literally in the Truman Show.
That is fucked. Well, here's the thing: is that actually what the temperature of Earth is, or has someone just made that up?
How would you even go about measuring the temperature of Earth?
I don't know. I guess you'd go to like as many countries as possible and take an average temperature and then just estimate other regions.
True.
Possibly. Or you'd go like every 50 miles or something around the Earth.
100%.
Yeah. Mind blowing. But you know, my mind's just completely gone blank there. I was going to say something. I don't know if you noticed this about the film as well. There's a phrase that's used in it. You know, Silvio. Not Silvio. Sylvia. Yeah, Silvio. He's in the film. No, Sylvia. She wears a badge that says, "How's it going to end?"
Oh yeah, yes.
I think that's referencing the film, or it's supposed to be referencing the film. But if you take that phrase and put it into a gematria calculator in Chaldean, it equals 70, and 70 in the string of pi turns up at 96, obviously, like the yin yang, and then that links to the Queen in her jubilee. Obviously, last year she had her jubilee, which was her 70th year of rule in the year that she was going to be 96, and obviously this is the year she passed as well. So there's that little sync there. Is that saying that we're in the end times now because the Queen has had her 70th year of rule and she's died in her 96th year? Also, as well, to link to that, it was in 2022. It was said in the film, they were saying when they were doing the interview with Christoph, the news anchor was saying, how long has Truman's dad been gone? And he said 22 years. So there's the link to 2022 there. Quite subtle, but effective.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. The 22 there's appear a lot. Like if you want to use pi again, 64. It appears at the 22nd decimal digit, and then when you look at the element, it's tied to the element gadolinium, which is used to make TV screens. It's crazy.
Oh boy, we're all on a TV.
Wow.
Well, say something, damn it! You're on live television.
It's a shame for
Oh yeah,
Christoph.
that's what I was gonna say. Say again, sorry.
It's a shame for Christoph that Truman made the right decision.
I know. That's the thing, and everyone loved it. I was thinking the whole film, I was like, do these people do any work? All they seem to do is watch the Truman Show. Like those people working at the bar, they didn't really seem to be getting much done. All they were doing was watching the Truman Show. If that was me at work, I'd be getting told off. Like, stop fucking watching TV. Get back to work. Lazy bastards.
You know,
and then,
yeah.
obviously, at the end of the film, when Truman leaves, they're like, "Oh, what else is on TV?" I thought it was a great line because it's like, I don't have to explain why, but it was just a great line.
Yeah, it's an incredible line, that is. You know, because
it's an excellent presentation, a little meta-analysis of society. We live in a society.
100%. What's next? What's after scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours?
Yeah, exactly. You're always looking for the next fucking dopamine rush.
Yeah.
Go up. Start doing cold showers.
Start doing martial arts if you're not doing that. You know.
Yeah, I need to start doing martial arts.
Have you got the time?
I'm gonna start. Yeah, I've got the time. I just don't know what day I'd do it on. I'd probably do it on like a Friday night, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I do want to get into it. Also, I did remember what I was going to say earlier when I said my mind went blank. Obviously, it's called Truman. Sounds like Truman Show, like the True Man. And you were talking about the average temperature of the Earth. The average sound frequency, or the sound frequency that the Earth resonates, is called the Schumann's resonance.
Ooh.
It's quite interesting because it sounds very much like Truman. And that is 432 hertz for people that don't know.
That's an interesting number, I see. 432.
Yeah. Do you know, like, have you seen on like YouTube and stuff, you can see people like repost songs, but it'll be like in 432 hertz.
Yes.
You know about that? Do you know about the whole stuff with like 440
yes.
hertz? Yeah. So obviously there's like that link there. Apparently, I'm not sure how true it is, but if you know, like if you take sound, and if you shoot frequencies at it, it'll change shape. Like the shape of the sound. If you play at 432 hertz, I believe it makes the shape of the pyramid.
That's crazy.
I'd have to validate that, but I am quite sure that's true, which is very interesting. So perhaps that's why we're so obsessed, or there's like so many references to pyramids, and there's so many pyramids across the earth. Like why our ancients were so obsessed with creating pyramids is because it's representative of the resonance of the earth and the universe.
Looks like it. It's hard to say because, you know, in the Truman Show, we're having to guess a lot. I feel like it wasn't easy to dissect it, especially for me. I've only watched it once, so from the eye you can see what it was all about, but to go deeper into it, there's not much there. I felt maybe I'm not looking too hard enough.
There's not too much in the film. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I can see where you're coming from. I think you probably have to watch it. Like, I think a lot of it we notice and we take as face value because we already know about things like such as Sirius and other references, but I don't think other people would catch on.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
So I think it's all relative to like how good you are at decoding. This is completely irrelevant. I was watching what's it called? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest the other night, and I heard the term or the phrase "a rolling stone never gathers moss," or gathers no moss, should I say? Which is a phrase I've never heard before until then. And then I watched the Truman Show and I heard it again. So there's stuff like that where it's like people say like you'll hear something in real life, or you'll like hear a word, or you'll hear a phrase that you've never heard before, and then you'll just hear it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll just pop up in different places. You're like, oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. It's like always these synchronicities that just pop up and like they're in you. It's like if you played GTA. Have you ever played GTA before?
Yes.
So if you play GTA and you're like, oh, I need this car. I need like the best car. I need like a Enzo, and you can't find it anywhere. And then you get one, and then every single person, every single AI on the map has got one. It's like that. It's like once you find something, or once something becomes obvious in your reality, then it pops up everywhere.
Yeah, because you mentioned that with the AI and finding something. So with the Truman, Christoph is already knows what he's going to do next, because he watches him the whole time, which is perhaps symbolic of whatever you want to call it, God, the grand architect, the demiurge, just watching us on his television screen.
Yeah. Maybe he's dictating the shots. Maybe we just don't realise.
Yeah.
But it's not in the sense of like a TV show, I don't think. It's more like that's just how the reality works. Or is it a TV show? It could be a TV show. But it's like a new Brad Vance TV show. Like have you seen Rick and Morty? The references last time.
Only glimpse of it. But yeah, you shared something about Rick and Morty.
There's an episode where like these massive heads come down from space and they like start speaking to people, and they're saying to them like, "Show me what you got." You'd have to watch the episode. I'll send you a clip. But they basically like want them to make a song.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they're on like a television show. Where it's like American Idol, where they've just got to like perform a song. But like if the planet doesn't get the song right, then they get blown up.
I don't know if that's anything comparable to this reality. I hope not.
It might be. You never know.
In what way?
Well, the pyramids might be laser guns.
Oh yeah. If the pyramids are destroyed, what happens?
Yeah. Like self-destruct and just blow up.
Mm-hmm. Man, as usual, it's gone off topic. Went from the Truman Show to Rick and Morty to pyramids to a lot of things. No problem. It is what it is, though. We go with the flow at times, you know.
Yeah. Have you got any other observations from the film?
Not really, no. Surprisingly. I feel
the
like
last
it was
day
quite
that
what you
I was just going to say, the last day that Truman was on the show was 109.13. And you have the 19 there, and then you have your 13.
13.
Plus 9. 10. Plus 13. Yeah. So, the 13th day, that's the last day that he leaves, basically, of the 19th.
Yeah, the 13 seems to be the key to getting out of the Matrix. A very special number.
Yeah.
It's appeared in our podcast too, so, you know.
Yeah,
hopefully
it'll pop up all over the place. But that's the thing. I feel like when you give energy to something, it gives energy back to you and it shows itself.
Yeah, totally.
Another observation I liked about the Truman Show was when he was going traveling, and he like wanted to book a trip to Fiji, and he went to the travel agent, and like all the signs and stuff on the walls were saying like, it could happen to you at any time, with like a picture of a plane getting shot by lightning, and like overseas there's terrorism, disease and stuff like that. It's like it just epitomizes what it's like to live in Western society with like COVID and stuff like that. I shouldn't say that, should I? With coronavirus.
Yeah, like at the end, he got light struck by on his boat. Obviously, Christoph trying his ultimate hardest to not let him go away.
Yep.
Once you regain free will, once you regain your free will, these beings, these astral beings, these archons don't have control of you anymore.
But what is that free will then?
Yeah.
How do we know that we're just not being led down this path of false enlightenment where we think we know what we're doing and we just don't? I don't know. It's all too much at times.
It is.
The rabbit hole goes really deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like this Matrix, it has so many tricks up your sleeve. Like if you think you found this truth, then you have a change in belief. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like I used to think that Jesus was Jupiter. Now I believe he's the sun. So, like it's crazy how you start really
change.
It's like you don't really have beliefs anymore, which is quite crazy. Because then once your beliefs are questioned, you have to be neutral and just look at it from both sides and ultimately come to the conclusion to see which one makes more sense.
Yeah. What do you believe? Leave. It's like some slam poetry shit. That. Pardon?
Have you got any more thoughts on the Truman Show? If not, then
I did make a link to Dawn FM. I said this on the podcast recently.
Oh yeah. Yes,
so
yes.
It seems to be like a sideline story to the Truman Show, like the album, and obviously it's narrated by Jim Carrey, and it's similar to how in the Truman Show it was spoke to through the radio, like the radio spoke to him. There's 28 years between the birth of Jim Carrey and The Weeknd. When's The Weeknd born? He's born on the 8th of February.
216 on the 16th of February.
He is, yeah. You're right there. Yeah. I remember saying that now. It's because I've got 28 down here everywhere. But Dawn FM equals 28 in Chaldean. Wake Up equals 28 in Chaldean. Lucifer equals 28. James Carey, which is obviously Jim Carrey's proper name, equals 28. 28 is a perfect number. It's quite interesting. And obviously there's 28 years between the births. And the album was released on 7/1, which is similar to 17 and the 17th of January. It's quite interesting.
Which is today.
Yep. Oh, wish that was the number. That would have been perfect. It doesn't matter. I put down 103.5. I'm trying to think why I put 103.5. This is just my notes from last year. 103.5. I'm not sure what that is. Triangular equals 28 as well. Also as well, to go down, there's a lyric in one of the songs called Gasoline, which really stuck out to me. It's a really good song, by the way. Where he says, around, around, around we go in this game called Life We Are Not Free. That equals 244 in Chaldean, that phrase. And plutonium is the element with 244 atomic weight, which is the 94th element. As I said earlier, it's the 117. So there's your connection to Pluto again.
Plus, also one more thing as well. Pluto in Chaldean, guess what it equals? 28.
28. Boom. There's your full circle. That's why the dog in the Truman Show is called Pluto. We've found it. We've worked it out. Let's go. Well, did the creators of the film go, oh, what should we call this dog? Should we call it Pluto because it links to 244 in Chaldean? Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know. There's all these links. Maybe they do know. That's the thing. More and more, I begin to think that they probably do actually have some esoteric knowledge and they love to throw in little hints and stuff, especially in films like this with esoteric ideologies clearly attached to them, like the Truman Show.
Yeah, but I don't think they're playing around with numerology and typing in words on a calculator. I don't believe in that. I think that's all nonsense.
No, but that is a weird thing. And they probably know something about Pluto.
Mhm.
And that's
That
what
we
got
don't
me
know.
into. Yeah.
No,
There's
yeah.
another episode of Rick and Morty where they go to Pluto, and sorry, I'm just really plugging Rick and Morty here. Jerry, who's like the dad, goes to Pluto with Morty, and he's basically saying that Pluto is a planet, and like it becomes revered on Pluto because everyone's like, oh my god, he's saying that Pluto is a planet. It's really like you'd have to watch the episode. It's quite funny. I think you'd enjoy Rick and Morty if you watched it.
Yeah. Maybe we could do an episode on Rick and Morty.
Maybe, yeah. I think that could be a good episode. Got a lot to talk about, stuff like that.
Yeah. I gotta binge watch it then, you know.
Yeah. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
But yeah. Is that all for today? Or tonight, actually?
I think so, unless you've got anything to talk about. There's probably a lot more you could talk about. We'll probably do a follow-up episode.
Yeah. What was that Jim Carrey iconic quote? Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.